lot of people fit a mould on a team, and
I don't fit that mould.
Yeah, Bex don't fit that mould. About halfway through the day, I sort of knew I was doing it all right, and then I suddenly had a pressure on me, which I'd never had before. 30 seconds to drop in, and she comes over and she starts crying. I'm like, can you please not? Like, I'm literally about to drop into my last run.
EDR racing hasn't got me stoked at all this year. It would have actually been better to share it at the time, but at the time I felt a bit embarrassed, a bit ashamed.
Bex Baraona, Chloe Taylor, welcome back to the Downtime Podcast. It's been a while. I cannot believe I went back and checked, and it was early 2022 the last time we sort of sat down and had a podcast together, which seems crazy.
About to go into 2025.
Yeah, that's a long
while, yeah. Lots happened.
A lot.
Lots to talk about.
Has happened. A lot has happened for sure. Let's take it back to the start of 2023, because I think that's when EWS became EDR, and everything changed to some extent, or didn't change in a lot of ways as well. And we kicked off in style, I think, that year in Medina and Derby. The vibes were high, and at Bex it went pretty well. Yeah,
it was... it honestly seems so long away, like a long time ago. But I remember just being in that side of the world is amazing. I suppose like this season, I've kind of forgot what it's like to travel far away because we've only been in Europe. But the team actually went out there like a month early, so we ended up doing Trans-Tasmania.
Yeah.
And then obviously we raced a month later, so got to spend a lot of time on them trails and stuff, which was really cool. And yeah, the Medina was like a bit of a warm-up, I suppose. Come forth there, and then the following weekend was right good.
It was, yeah. Yeah. Talk us through
it. Well, I suppose just obviously riding for Yeti at the time, it's very much like a race winning kind of team. Got swept into that environment and was on a bit of a mission. Like I definitely wanted to win. I'd invested a lot into that trip actually, because I'd spent like a month in Australia.
Right.
And like
while I was in Scotland in the snow. Yeah. So that was nice.
Yeah, we'd never spent that much time apart, to be fair, have we? And then I was just, on the day I was just super fired up, and it was, I don't think I started my race I can't remember where I came on the first stage, but it definitely wasn't like, I don't think it was in the top three. And then, it might have been, I can't remember. It was that long ago, I can't remember, but it was, I didn't win the first stage basically, and I think it's the first time I've had that mentality of like, right, I'm having this.
Fair
and then just went from strength to strength and came into the last stage. I think it was it a few seconds between me and Hattie?
I think Hattie was leading,
No, I was leading because I dropped last. I was leading, and then it was really close, and it was a long and quite a pedally stage. But when I did the stage, I got the ultimate like sense of flow. And honestly, it could have been a 1 minute stage in my head. Like It just went like that. And the pedally, I don't even remember a pedally section. Like it was just a blur. And I think I finished 8 seconds up. So yeah, took the win. First time winning not on Scottish soil, which was my next biggest goal after Scotland.
Yeah, I was going to say there can always be that like our home trail advantage because you would live in the area. And all that kind of
knowing
stuff.
The trails and stuff. But I mean, I would argue there's home trail disadvantage as well, because you like that one felt totally different to the Derby one, because it was like stressful. Like everyone's like waving at you like go and win, and you're like I'm trying.
Yeah, there's a pressure that comes with it. Right?
And just an expectation, and like obviously expect it from yourself, but that one didn't feel as like nice to win, whereas the one in Tasmania was like we're doing it. We're winning races away from home. Yeah.
Well, I suppose when you won Scotland, you felt like more of a relief, like, oh, I've done it, rather than like Derby was like,
oh my God, I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool. And Chloe, you had a 10th in Pietra in 2023. Was that your first top 10?
Oh,
we've not done our research.
You're quizzing me now. I think
it was.
So, yeah.
I think
so. That was like, again, not a relief, but just like, moving in the right direction, which is obviously what I've been working towards for so long. I think it was my first top 10.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I remember being buzzing.
I guess it's just a reassurance that the process and the work you're doing is working, right? You're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like there's psychologically the difference between 11th and 10th is quite big, I think.
Yeah. Even though it's just like, another number, but yeah, for sure. To break into that top 10 was a big achievement for me.
Nice. And Bex, you finished the season overall in 4th, Chloe in 14th. Were you happy with that? Did you walk away from 2023 with a sense of satisfaction in what you'd both achieved?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd had like top 15 overall in my head for for a long time, to be overall in the top 15 is like a big achievement, and yeah, to finally reach it, and like I say, just know that I'm going in the right direction, and then obviously just from then gone strength to strength is pretty cool.
Things were like starting to click for you, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like ticking boxes and
yeah, I'm
a box ticker.
Yeah, that's it.
If it works, it works, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Sure.
Yeah. And for me, I mean, 4th was, I think that's the best plate I've had. It was a bit of a weird season though, because after starting so strong in Tasmania, like the 2 back-to-back races, after winning the race in Derby, I'm not going to lie, I was like a deer in the headlights, or like a rabbit in the headlights even. I was just like, oh my God, I'm in the leader's jersey, and like the team now thinks that I win races every week, and it wasn't really the nicest environment after that for me, and I really struggled actually. I did sort of like tried to speak to people that have been in that position. I just didn't know what to do. Like I was like, yeah, I totally froze up and wasn't enjoying the racing after then. So then it just didn't like flow, didn't click, did it? And
yeah,
I was like,
I think
struggling.
as well, like the whole leaders jersey thing was a new thing as well, and even just having that target on your back, is like a massive thing that not many people have experienced, and like
definitely not me.
Well,
until then,
I suppose the first time for you, and that's why I don't know.
I think then actually being on that team of like where it's all about winning, it spun like 360 on its head like straight away, and it was like actually worked in a negative way for me, because it just suddenly felt like a lot of pressure, and I was sort of, kind of being told that like that's what we're kind of expecting now, and that's didn't really work for me. Like I was struggling anyway, so battled through the season, stoked to finish up 4th, but after that win, there was never really a satisfying race, I don't think, for me. Okay. And never felt like I was racing to my potential, or I was actually honestly just surviving the weekends and just thinking, what damage control can I do? Which is pretty mental when you think about it, that to still come out 4th in the overall, because that was me in sort of damage control mode. So yeah, my racing's always been like such a up and down journey. Roller coaster. And like, if I feel like if I could just race content and stuff, and not thinking about other pressures or whatever, what other people want, what positions they want me to come or whatever, I think I could probably be a much better racer, but I don't know, it's just part of being on a pro team, I suppose.
Yeah. Did you have any psychological support through that period?
Me?
Any qualified psychological support?
She's pretty much qualified now, to be fair. Yeah, no, to be fair, yeah, you were a big help, and it was a big distraction for you as well in your racing, because Chloe was starting to things were starting to click, and we also operate so differently as racers, and you were like big support. But in terms of, I have talked with a sports psychologist before, but I'll be honest, it just kind of ruined sport for me, because I was like, not ruined it, like the stuff he had to say and the stuff we talked about, I find it really interesting, but it kind of just told me too much about the brain, and I was like, almost found out too much about what the brain's capable of and what it does. I found it so interesting, and it just kind of, I don't know, got in the way. But yeah,
I think it sounds corny, but like for you, it's like if you're having fun, you're going fast.
Yeah,
it
literally.
sounds really like corny and so stereotypical, but I think that's kind of how it works for you.
Yeah, for sure. Like honestly, the only 2 times where I've properly told myself, right, you're winning this race, are the only 2 times I've won World Cups. So
mad, eh?
Like, which, and I can understand for a team, like you can't really have a rider that's like sometimes up for it, sometimes not. But that's just who I am. And now I'm not on a team. I'm actually like stoked to be able to like just actually, even just be able to say that publicly. Like it feels so good, because that's who I am, and why would I hide it now? Like I'm racing for loads of different reasons now, not just to win. So
yeah,
some races I'll
your
try
why
to
is
win.
a bit clearer, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So it feels nice now, but if you're getting paid to win races, I understand it. They need someone that's going to show up and win races each, or at least try. I must admit, there's sometimes when I'm like, I just want to ride my bike and have fun today. I don't want to go really, really fast and risk my life.
Well, I've always found it funny that Bex is very much not the stereotypical athlete, like how an athlete thinks.
No,
like you're so far from a stereotypical athlete, and it's like not crazy that you've had the results you've had, but like I feel like you break the mold for what you can do, for the way you think about racing.
We reckon that if we took Chloe's brain and put it in my body, we'd smoke and wouldn't we?
Can you get both of you on the bike at the same time? Like,
We'll try that tandem.
There you go. That's the next one.
Yeah,
it's been done. I've seen Guy and his daughter do it at Hard Rock.
Yeah,
so
I've seen that.
Mental.
it is insane.
I wouldn't want to be the one on the back, just
I wouldn't
holding on.
want to be anywhere near it.
Innit? Who would be on the front and who'd be on the back? I'm on the front. I'm not going on the back. No way.
I don't
Not
know.
with your lines.
So 2023, then the season kicked off well from a results perspective, and I think it kicked off well for Enduro, right? Like there was a good buzz, there were good crowds at Medina and Derby, and then throughout the season, like as it was put on the same program as downhill and cross country in certain areas, there was schedule conflicts with e-Enduro, where maybe e-Enduro got the slots where there'd be more people on site, like on the weekends. How did it feel being within it? Like it felt like someone had sort of started to take a bit of the energy out of Enduro, at least as a fan sort of consuming it from afar.
I mean, at first we were definitely excited to be like with our downhill pals and stuff during the week. And then I think the Enduro athletes quickly realised that, I'm not sure this is great for our sport.
Kick to the curb.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Just like you could tell their resources were so thin on the ground. It was like they took the same team. I'm sure they didn't, but from the outside, it was like, well, even from the inside, it was like they took the same team to organise 3 times the amount of racing. So, we're not really the priority. And I think last year was when it really started to get around the pits, the riders and everyone was getting a little bit like aggy about it. Like,
well, like you said, like in Tasmania, the crowds were insane. Like some of the best racing I've done in terms of crowd wise. And then, we go to Europe and we're on a Thursday and, people are at work.
Yeah.
So it's like hard for people to get out and enjoy the racing. So yeah, I think for a lot of the Enduro riders, it's just a bit deflating to see where the sport's got to. And, UCI's taking it on. It's got this massive company sort of taking it on, and it could go from strength to strength, and then it's not quite got there yet. I think in due course it will, but at the moment it's definitely, it's like frustrating for us because it's such a sick sport. Like if it was portrayed in the right way, like what we do is insane. Like over half an hour's worth of racing, sometimes we're down to like milliseconds.
Yeah, it's incredible
to take the win, which is so entertaining and so crazy. So
the full story is not really shown, is it?
Yeah,
Like what we're actually doing.
Yeah, when you get to see the little like drone clips and stuff, like the speed that you lot are riding at in terrain you've ridden once.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Incredible, but it's just so infrequent, so little of it available that it's very hard to consume, like unless you're on site. So.
Yeah. I mean, it must be a minefield trying to know what to do with the sport next in terms of like from its EWS to like trying to get it as a bit of a more mainstream, even just within cycling. But yeah, maybe it missed the beat last year and this year.
Yeah, 2023.
But they're just figuring it out, I'm sure.
But
sorry, go on, Chloe.
I was just going to say, like, I don't know. I feel like nobody knows fully how to show it, like on TV or YouTube or whatever. But the only thing I can think is like how Drive to Survive is filmed, like show individual stories. Because from an enduro race, you don't really get to see them individual stories, like. Like people get punches left, right and centre, but people aren't seeing that nitty gritty sort of stories. And I think somehow being able to show it that way would push the sport a lot.
Yeah, you bring out the characters as well. Like there's so many different types of riders. Like there's tall, there's skinny, there's chunkier, there's like, you look at the difference between, I don't know, Jesse Mellwood and Richie Roode, like physique wise, it's mental, like,
totally
but they're
different.
Still racing like within such a fraction of a second of each other. And like them stories of like, even just how they actually ride the bike is, like, it needs sharing, I suppose. But yeah, that's not our problem, I suppose. But it kind of is.
Yeah.
It feels like as well, it feels like Enduro is like a big family, and it always has been, and like big travelling circus. And it feels, I think the vibe is like, especially this year, it's like, we're all don't feel let down. It's more just like, oh, this is our sport and it's going in a direction that we have less control over now, and it doesn't feel like it used to. But I mean, we have to be open to change, but the last 2 years have definitely, I don't know, 2023 was like, oh, it's changing, we've just got to give them time. But then 2024 is like, okay, how much time are they going to need?
Yeah, fair. And that lack of coverage and then the general challenges in the bike industry kind of rebounding from COVID got to the point where brands have been cutting budgets.
Yeah,
and a number of riders were left without deals, one of which was you,
Me.
Bex. When did you find out? And like, how do you then deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I found out pretty late. I think it was end of October, early November. I can't remember. So obviously pretty late and really unexpected as well. We kind of spoke all year about like re-signing and just getting it sorted, and but I didn't realise at the time I was kind of just getting turfed off, and there's obviously other agendas going on. So it was pretty savage. Not gonna lie, it took me a long time to get over. Like felt really bitter about it for a long time, and we're like a year on now, and there's obviously times when I think like, probably a bit more than like a few words I probably won't say on the podcast, but it's like, of course you feel a bit bitter about it. It's a whole life. Like it's we train for it, but it's not like, it is a job, but it's like, it's your whole life. So it definitely hit hard and had no plan B really. Cause like I said, it was really unexpected, and I was kind of told we were going to re-sign and everything would be all right. And we didn't know exactly like what deal, but it was very much like, we're not planning to get rid of you. So yeah, it was didn't have a plan B. And now I look at it, a lot's happened in between, a lot of like decisions and stuff. Cause obviously I didn't know at the time, like, well, do I need to try and find another deal, or there was no other deals around.
Not the time for that, right?
Yeah, like everything's said and done by sort of, end of October, start of November. And then by the time I'd even got my head around it and thought, well, I need to go and contact people, it was way too late. And like you say, the industry was just like pulling back anyway. So, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, because that year, like I said, racing, like it went from ultimate high quite quickly to like, this is pretty overwhelming. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm just done with it. And then obviously I'm pretty glad I've got Chloe there telling me like, you're not done with it. Because maybe this year would have turned out pretty differently, because
well, there was moments where you were like, maybe I'll just get a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, I was going to become an electrician.
Really?
I was actually,
It got that kind of far away.
Well, we've got a mortgage. So I was like, we actually need to pay the bills. And like, as of December, so bearing in mind, I obviously found out end of October, I had 2 months left of pay, and then there was nothing going to come in. So, and when you're on a team, it's one contract, one payment that's from your team. Most teams, I don't know if like everyone organised them like this. So it was like 100 to 0. Yeah. Like there was no like, oh, it's all right because I've got a clothing deal still or whatever. Like there was
all gone. Yeah,
all gone. So like my whole income, and
so cutthroat.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. And like my whole career, to be fair, like I've always thought this feels sketchy, because I got into biking just through like fun, and I was just happened to be all right at it. And I've always thought business-wise, it's so sketchy, because you've got just one income, and then they can just decide, and then it's gone.
And before that, you'd always done bits separately, right? You'd had like a few different brands supporting you, and
but for me that was
crowdfunding stuff.
Yeah, I did crowdfunding and stuff like that. Which that was, so I did 2 years of privateering, and then Ibis got me a ride, and I think looking back, like I would have, right now I'd have been in definitely a lot better situation if I'd have just stuck at the privateering. But it wasn't what people were doing back then. People would, like a lot of people actually would do like 1 year of privateering. If they did the kind of results you do, like I was doing, they'd get assigned straight away. But I ended up doing 2, and I was happy, but I was fine with it, and just like, it's all right, my team, like the team will come at the right time. And in a way it was kind of like people were aiming to get on a team. And now like my biggest advice would be like, don't get on a team. Like make your own team, and like, or just get your own sponsors, do it yourself, and you'll be way better off, like way better position financially, in terms of like having stable income, in terms of like, if you get dropped by one sponsor, you're not going to feel it as bad.
Yeah.
Also, I think it depends on the person as well, right? Like a lot of people fit a mold on a team, and
I don't fit that mold.
Yeah, Bex don't fit that mold.
Yeah, I definitely don't fit the mold, but
then I suppose at the end of that year as well, when you were like umming and ahhing whether to continue racing and stuff, there was also, a thing in the back of your head where you've always thought like, what would it be like if I went to these races on my own, as a privateer? Like you've thought that for a few years. Yeah,
even on my Ibis deal, I remember, because I'd had 2-year contracts with them, and in between, like after the first 2 years, I was like it's been mint being on a team, you get a nice little box of goodies that arrive at your door and everything, and mechanic sorts your bike, but then I just thought, it's just not how I want to go racing, like, but I felt so ungrateful, like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like a princess, and I was like, shut up, ride your bike, you're being paid and everything done.
Yeah.
And then but it's always been there, and we spoke about it every year. Multiple times, probably every month, to be honest. Like I should be doing this myself, but just to take, if someone's going to pay you to ride your bike, how can you turn it down? So I stuck at it, and to be honest, as much as like I resent the team manager for dumping me as it is, actually now a year on, I can't thank him enough, to be honest, because I'm actually like, I'm where I want to be, running my own business, like calling my own like decisions and
being your own boss.
Oh God, yeah. I'm unemployable thanks to like, I think my upbringing. So I'm now employing myself. Well, we both employ ourselves, and it works. And
But how do you put that together? Like between the two of you, how did you get everything you needed to go and do a season of racing? I mean, I guess luckily in a way it was just Europe, which being in the UK makes life a lot easier. You didn't have to find money to fly to US, Canada, New Zealand, all this kind of stuff.
Well, I'd been running, like ever since I started like racing Enduro, I've sort of run my own program as a privateer. So it was kind of nothing new to me.
Luckily, Yeti bikes sell for quite a lot secondhand, so
they hold their resale value pretty nicely. Yeah.
And then I guess obviously it was so last minute as well. We were kind of scrambling. I'd already already signed with Scott, I think, because I'd already been with them 2 years before.
Yeah, I think most of your sponsors carried on, didn't they?
And I mean, we'd have liked for all our brands to align, but just because it was so last minute, that proved difficult to do.
Yeah.
And then I guess a lot of emails.
A lot. Oh my gosh.
A lot of admin.
A lot of it. And the emails don't stop even now. It seems like the same again, doesn't it?
Yeah. So then we managed to pull a few different brands together that would support the two of us, just to start the vision, I suppose. Because I mean, even going into next year, it's also proven difficult with the whole COVID sort of backlash. But I mean, especially now, I feel like we know we've got something good and unique, and like people are interested. So it's like just trying to, I mean, we know, like, I don't know, I feel like we value what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think last year when my news was super last minute, I think we didn't really have a clear vision of what we're up to in our head. Like it was kind of like, oh, well, if we can get a bit in for me, I will go racing. And I suppose that rubs off on when you're chatting with sponsors or brands or like anyone that wants to get involved. If you're not sure on what you're up to, I think it rubs off. So I think we only got a bit of support because of that reason.
Okay.
Whereas now, like when we speak with brands, we're very sure of what we're doing. We know what we're up to.
Yeah.
We know what direction we're heading. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility there, but we
also know it's
more
valuable.
Confident. Yeah, we know that it's like.
And then we were like, okay, so it's all in Europe, so we need a van. And then my dad's company, they build bike tracks. They've helped us out with a van, and then we've kind of like ghetto kitted it out as a camper, didn't we, to go out to Europe, just like a makeshift high bed. Just we took
everything we needed. We had everything we needed. I had a gas stove.
We took a set of old drawers from my grandma and granddad's house.
We're gonna have to send you some photos of it.
That's literally just an old set of drawers. That was like sort of the kit out.
We had 2 days basically to make a van, big
livable.
like long wheelbase, high roof.
Yeah.
Like we had 2 days to make it like usable for like last summer, and then the plan is this winter I'm going to magic up apparently a nice interior van of something Chloe, some bougie van that Chloe's found on Instagram that I've got to make.
I guess that's. I mean, we didn't know how we were going to make it work, but we were just like, we're going to go racing, like we're going to make it work.
Yeah. And to be fair, like the 2 previous years financially, like I'd saved money and like not, I hadn't been splashing the cash, so I did go into my savings and stuff like that, and it all worked out really, didn't it?
And we got a few brands behind it,
brands that
like super last minute, like helped us out a bit financially, which has obviously helped us even get to the races this year. So we're super grateful for them.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you go about choosing a bike then? Because obviously the last good few years you've been decided by the brand what bike you're going to be on, and suddenly you've got free reign, give or take whatever's in the wallet. But
it's so weird actually going from like being dropped and thinking I'm not wanted to, oh my God, I can ride any bike I want now. This is sick. I actually got really stuck into like trying people's bikes, and at first I was just asking mates like, can I have a go on your bike, have a go on yours? And it was so much fun, like jumping on, I think first bike I jumped on was a Santa Cruz Bronson. A mate from up at the Tweed Valley just had he's got another bike now, so he was just, it's in the garage, go and take it out, and loved it, like absolutely loved it. I'd just never been on a mullet bike, to be fair.
Okay.
It had SRAM all over it, like it didn't have anything I was familiar with.
Yeah.
And I at first I was a bit like hesitant, because I was like, what do I do this? And there's so many bikes out there, like, and it's so confusing. There's now like, it's not even like you can buy a downhill bike and a trail bike. There's like everything in between now. There's like part bikes, like big enduro bikes, little enduro bikes, big trail bikes, like.
Well, also to the point where you ended up like buying a bike and you bought the wrong size.
Yeah, I bought the wrong size. Not bought a bike in like 8 years, and literally the first bike I bought, it was a Santa Cruz Mega Tower that Phil at Jungle helped me out with. Like did a really nice price on it, so I could get that rolling, and I literally just ordered the wrong size. I got a medium. I really definitely should have been on a small. So I took that away we went on a little Spanish like winter riding trip to get some sun, and we don't get much sun in Scotland, you see, in the winter, so we have to get away. And I was saying to Chloe, I was like, I can't ride it, I can't get on with it. And then when I got home, I like measured it all, and I was like, oh my god, it's like so much bigger than my bikes I've been riding. So learned the hard way with that one. Yeah.
Good effort. What did you end up taking to the season?
Took a few different, but I've rode a few different, raced a few different bikes this season. I've raced on and then James at YT, I think, was it? No, did I race your bike first?
I don't know, she's absolutely wrecked my training bike, but we'll not talk about that.
And then it got stolen anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I've been, James at YT was like, I'll help you out if I can, and they hooked me up with a bike. Oh yeah, I did the first 2 races on that.
Was that on a Capra?
That was the Capra, yeah. Loved that bike, literally jumped on it straight away. Felt very comfortable. Sizing was really good for me. But it was at that point when I realised that for enduro, for me personally, I don't like a really long travel bike. Anything above 160 is a bit overkill, and I don't like the way it kind of feels for racing.
Yeah.
General riding, it was mint because you're not against the clock, but for racing, I was like, I need something a bit sort of
sharper,
yeah, a bit easier to pump and stuff like that. So then I jumped on your. Actually, like 2 days before Leogang, I jumped on Chloe's spare race bike, and because we were in the van, we could take out a spare, so we took Chloe's spare training bike, and I was like, you know what, I'll just jump on it, see what it's like. And we did a few.
That was your best result of the year.
I came 5th, didn't I?
I think so.
That was my best result of the year. Yeah.
What travel bike's that?
150.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 150, and like. I didn't even change one setting, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like on the shock or fork.
Which just shows you it's totally mentality.
Yeah.
Like you just went in like, just give it a go, see what happens. I've ridden it twice.
Pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and if anything, it took the pressure off because I was like,
you've got an excuse, haven't you?
I've never used this bike. I'll see what I can do. And I had so much fun. And to be honest, that race was like, everyone was petrified at that race because it rained. I don't know if were you in Leogang?
No, not this year.
It rained, and Leogang's got a lot of routes and it's slick. And you looked around the women's field, and when we were like at the top of tracks and stuff, and everyone looked petrified, and I was just like, I'm just on my 3rd day out on this bike, seeing what it can do. And so I was just up for it. And I think, did I get a top 3 stage? I think I got a 3rd on a stage, and I was like, sick. Yeah. If nothing else happens this year, I'm just buzzing on that, to be honest. So, and then what else? And then the end of the season, we've just been to Mexico for a trans race, and I rode a Canyon Spectral, which...
Yeah, 140.
140, so getting smaller again. And I actually ordered as well an extra small because they've lent, basically when our bikes got stolen, they lent us lent me a bike because Chloe's spare bike / my race bike got stolen. So they lent us that till the end of the year, and I just got on with it, enjoyed it.
I suppose after like the year where you've just been trying bikes, you've realised that basically modern mountain bikes, they're all kind of good.
Yeah, you just get on it and rag it. And
there's a lot of great bikes out there. Have you been using the KISS thing, the keep it stable thing on the...
Yeah, but where we live in Inners, like...
It's a lot of tight corners.
Yeah, I was literally like, oh my God, my arms can't take this. As soon the first track, I turned it off, to be honest.
Oh, really?
And even on off, it's actually... There is still,
You can take it out pretty easy.
I'd be interested to see what it's like with it off completely, like taken out completely, or just on their lowest setting. because I don't notice it now.
Yeah.
Now it's on like 0, but it does do something. 'Cause if you lift the wheel up and turn the bar, it comes
pulls
back.
it, yeah.
Or even being able to try it on like fast rough stuff. I feel like it'd be good.
Yeah.
I'd like to try one.
But I mean, that bike is really small. Like, I actually got an extra small, and it is tiny, so it probably does help a little bit to stable it out.
Yeah, probably.
But it
Makes
is
sense.
a really nice bike. I've enjoyed all the bikes I've ridden, to be honest. It's good fun. And yeah, I think the biggest thing with getting the right bike is just your reach.
Yeah.
For me, that's what it's been. Just not ordering the wrong size, basically.
Look at the stats before you order.
Yeah, actually,
Learned a lot,
look at the graphs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Fair.
Oh God,
Chloe,
no, don't look at the graphs, to be fair. Just the numbers.
let's talk about Poland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big life achievement, I suppose. Like, I've been working towards that for so long, and to be honest, it felt like quite soon. I wasn't expecting it, and I don't know, you kind of get a bit of a vibe when you're racing if you're doing well, because normally the cameras are following you around, which I'd never had before. And there were like a few photographers and videographers and stuff like asking me questions. I was like, what's happening here?
Did you not check the results? Like,
I hadn't been, I
I'm
don't
sure I
think.
messaged you being like,
No, that was after the guy had started interviewing me and stuff.
Because
And
you're in different groups.
we were
for that
So
one.
you're not riding
yeah,
together.
so I was like B group, which heads out a little bit earlier than A group. And I don't know, I just had a vibe when we got to Poland as well. Like, it was similar to home, like not tight
Tracks were sick,
trees,
weren't
but
they?
just tracks were insane. Like, felt like, I suppose when we go to Europe, sometimes it feels like, well, you can tell that you're on Hiker's Pass, whereas in Poland it was very much purpose-built mountain bike tracks.
Yeah.
And like shorter tracks as well, which is more similar to home. Like, we don't get 15-minute stages up in Leiden, so shorter tracks. And yeah, was just loving it through practice. I think we had a really good time in practice, and then the day started off well, and then it started raining, and I don't know, it all kind of clicked. And about halfway through the day, I sort of knew I was doing it all right, and then I suddenly had a pressure on me, which I'd never had before, which I quite like to experience a bit more of. But just trying to stay up there as well, which was a different pressure that I'd never felt before. And I'm glad I'd managed to hold it together, because I was like, God, just don't like crash now and throw it away, because that would be so annoying. But yeah, I was so buzzing on that. Yeah.
And tracks where you need to generate and retain speed as well, which I get, like, you've got that BMX background
Yeah.
to fall back on.
Yeah.
that stage 4 was like a big pump track,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I remember stage 4. I was just like, "This is my stage." I don't think I did that sick on it, but I felt like a hero on the way down. So that's it.
That's what matters.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you knew you had to keep in the race, because
That's it. Yeah,
you done like put a good time gap in, and then you didn't want to lose it, did you?
and there was some fast girls and stuff behind me, and I was like, "Oh, just come on, just stay where you're like, at least." Because I know I think at one point I was like second, or
Yeah, you were.
maybe even,
you were second
even
at one
winning. I
point.
can't remember, but I was, and I was just like, come on, this could be the first podium. And I'm so stoked that we're going back there next year as well.
That's awesome.
Because even the crowds as well, it was another race where we had like sick, insane crowds. And, we'd never been to Poland. I didn't really know, mountain biking was big over there, but they were literally lining the tracks, weren't they?
Yeah, they were like that last run. If you watch some head cams, it's literally like a downhill World Cup. There was people lining the track.
And that's what we want. It's so sick, especially when you're like fighting for a podium as well.
Even that stage, what was in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
the big long stage.
Yeah.
Honestly, you set off on the stage, and it was absolutely peeing down as well. And there was like, you get halfway down, and there was like Heckler's Rock style. Honestly,
way.
yeah. And
That's
you're
awesome.
like, how have you got here?
Yeah.
I remember thinking that when I was in the stage, like, how are you lot here?
Yeah, such a, I don't know, like a pinch me moment. Like, I remember like even like getting in the shower after, I was like, oh my God, I've actually like done it.
Third place and stood on an Enduro World Series podium. It's
Such
pretty
a
special.
Surreal feeling.
You were in bits as well, Bex.
Oh yeah, I broke down completely. Well, even during the race when I found out,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I can't ride now. Like, I can't concentrate. I can't concentrate best of times.
There was a hold on the last stage that much so that your group
started
like
crying
cut
at
us
the top.
up. And I was literally like 30 seconds to drop in, and she comes over and she starts crying. I'm like, can you please not? Like, I'm literally about to drop into my last run, trying to hold a podium, and you're crying.
Yeah, because I just couldn't hold it together, could I?
Good effort. That's not the easy, like the head game that's going on at that point anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
I
that's
definitely
full
didn't
on.
help things. You didn't throw it away
And
though.
I was like stood at the bottom with with a few pals and stuff, because it was obviously a little while till
Like
A
half
group
an hour.
came in, and I was like, we were all stood at the bottom like, oh my God, I might have done it. And then like each girl would come down, and then I think it was Ella that could have knocked me off the podium, and she came down and like came into second. I was like, geez, I've done it. Yeah.
We all let out like a
Yeah.
Tom was like, you've done it, and we were like trying to get confirmation, like, is it legit, has it happened?
No, it's
Pretty sick as well, like when we just started our own little gig, and like putting Gowaan, like Chloe said when she posted, it was like she feels like she put Gowaan on the map, and yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
And we
First Gowaan podium.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Did it change anything for you? Like, did it create a belief, or did it create a pressure, or?
I think it did a bit of both.
Okay.
I think definitely throughout the rest of the season, it was like I wanted to back it up, and I didn't manage to back it up, but I suppose it created a bit of pressure, because like now I know I can do it, and I've not really got, not an excuse, but like I know I can be there, so I should be there. So
you also got to experience what it's like to, because the racing, when you're like right in touch, it's so different, and like you said, you want to feel that more because it's just so addictive. Like that's the bit.
I suppose that's like the frustrating thing, because now
you know what
like,
it feels like.
feeling like of standing on a World Cup podium, and then you just want more of it, but then it's so hard to pull it off because the racing's like so tight at the moment, and there's so many girls that could be on that podium, like probably like 10 girls that could be on the podium, if not more. So it's obviously even more competitive, and yeah, I think it did a bit of both for me. I think it definitely brought some belief, because now I know I can do it.
Yeah.
But then obviously with that comes pressure, and like also knowing how to deal with that pressure, because it's the first time I've sort of known that I can stand on that podium. So now I need to know how to deal with that pressure. So it's like, yeah, a bit of both. And then I had a bit of a weird up and down season. Like I got a bit ill mid-season, and that was like right in the middle of a race block, and then I was like trying to...
She got more than a bit. You're playing that down.
Yeah, you were in hospital, right?
Yeah.
And
like,
she's still struggling with it, to be fair. Like, we were away racing, and she got what's called vestibular neuritis, which is like, it's in your ear, isn't it? And it's like knocks all your balance.
Yeah, like a nerve in your ear becomes inflamed. So it then like basically just sends your whole world spinning. Like really...
It was really
nauseous,
scary
like,
as well, wasn't it? Like,
I literally woke up, well, we were camping, weren't we? We were in the van, and I woke up in the middle of the night, basically like shot up in bed, and then flopped back to the side, and like I'd look at Bex's face, and it was just a spiral, and I was like, what the heck? Like it was a really scary experience. Like, yeah.
Like you were tripping.
So hard to explain, like unless you felt it, I don't think you can really explain it. Like I thought I was having like a heart attack or something, because it was something so like bizarre.
Yeah. Is it a virus? Is it like something
they say that it comes like from a virus, like when you run down.
Okay.
So then it can knock on effect to that. And we were like in Aosta Valley, like halfway up a mountain at the time, which obviously makes it a lot more scary.
Honestly, we tried to find a camp spot like in the middle of nowhere, so we were like, sick, like this will be us just on this little switchback here. And then when I'm trying to call the ambulance, I'm like,
they're like, where are you?
Yeah, don't know.
I was like, good question. But actually, honestly, the Italian emergency service were unreal. Like they were with us in 18 minutes, and we were like up a mountain. And Aosta Valley is massive, and they took you straight down, didn't they? And
straight down, 3 days in hospital, and then basically had to learn to walk again, which was a week before.
It was like, pretty scary.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realise it was that serious.
Yeah, literally, I was sending videos back home to her mum and dad and grandma and granddad, and like they were all like, she doesn't look good here, because I was like, brilliant, she's out of bed, like she's actually taking a few steps today, and she's like clinging on to me trying to walk down the corridor, and she's thinking like, it's all right, next week I'll race again, and like like so committed to the racing. But I suppose when we were in it, we didn't quite realise how bad it was, and like even now you're still like we've just flown back from Mexico, and like the pressures and stuff, there might be a bit of damage like on the nerve, because you definitely still
they say that it can
have
like lasting effects, so I think I was pretty lucky to race Combloux the following week.
So she raced the following week.
I was determined for... Well,
didn't you stay in the top 10? That was your aim?
Yeah, that was my aim for the year, to stay in the top 10, and especially after the podium and stuff. And I just remember like this happening, and then having a week, and even I rode my bike a few days before the race, and I like could barely... we went to. I'm gonna have to tell this story. We went to Les Houches, which is one of my favourite places to ride, and I couldn't ride at the time. It was like maybe a week after that had happened, and I was like, I'm just gonna try and ride the Fire Road. And we'd gone out in the van and took Lando, and I'd gone to ride the Fire Road and turned round to look at Lando, and as I'd turned back round, my arms had gone stiff and my front wheel just like washed one way, and then I managed to pull it back straight, and I was like, oh my god, that was so scary. How am I going to race my bike in like a few days time?
It's like what a kid would do on like a little balance
when they
bike,
turn around,
like looking at you, and then they're like, whoa.
It was, I don't know how I didn't crash, but yeah, to come out the other side of that, and like I say,
you got enough points, didn't you, to just get a few points to like.
I think I might have got like 15th or something.
Yeah, you're in the top 20. I remember you being in the top 20.
How have I pulled that off?
Luckily, it wasn't a super technical race. It was quite pumpy, flowy, loamy, which helped. I think played in your favour, didn't it?
But like even now, like to look back
bit
and
dangerous.
have turned that around is pretty insane. But you know, when you want something, you want to go and get it.
If your brain's in it and you want to do it, it's amazing what the body can do for sure.
Yeah,
she's committed to the racing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's wind back a little bit to Aosta Valley though, because you decided to have a go at some downhill World Cup. I think Chloe, you had a go at Fort William earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And then Bex, this was your
Val de Sol
was your first obvious choice for the first downhill World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what though? I was supposed to do Fort William and I just bottled it.
Really?
Yeah.
We went I saw you there and you were we're all good. Yeah.
Went up the week before the race, or like
a couple of weeks
2 weeks before the race, and like I suppose like I can ride that track, and I just bottled it, didn't I? I was like, the week before, I was just like, oh, I don't even want to hit them jumps today. Like, because the whole point was to go up the week before, do some of the features I thought I would want to do before practice, because obviously practice is so hectic.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I couldn't even hit him on that day when there was no one there. And I was just like, well, I don't want to. I was like, well, I'm my own boss now. I don't have to do what I don't want to do. So I was just like, I'll not do it. And it's too much. And to be fair, we'd had all the bike stuff and like parcels had come last minute, and I were actually building your race bike for Enduro the following week,
and we were leaving like the Monday after Fort William.
So I was like, it's all right, I'll be a mechanic this week and I'm all right with that.
But then I think it's when I like turned around to you and said like, you're being a typical woman.
Yeah, I was
like women like whittle, and they're like don't want to do certain things or do something new, and I was like, that's what you're doing. And I think you were taken back and you were like, this is what we're trying to make like people not do.
That's what Gowaan's about, is like giving stuff a go, and it actually doesn't matter. But then I suppose like not it's not an ego thing at all, but it's like I suppose people see you as like, you're a World Cup racer, why would you like just get on with it? And if anything, I should have took that as and just publicised the fact that I'm scared of doing Fort William, and I bottled it. And it would have actually been better to share it at the time, but at the time I felt a bit embarrassed, a bit ashamed.
Which I understand. Yeah. It's hard to put that stuff out there, right?
But when Chloe said it to me, I was like, you know what? That's like, I'm not being a Gowaana there, am I? Like, I'm just...
You're not living the brand.
No, I'm not living the brand. So
she did.
So then I was like, right, I'll sign up to Val de Sol then. I'll show you.
In the wet.
Honestly.
Go on, talk us through it, because I've watched the videos, actually. They're really good for people that haven't seen them. There's good vlog that you put together. Yeah.
Do you know what? Because I think I vlogged like literally going up for my first lap, and I was like, I'm scared. And then literally getting the gondola on the next one, and I'm like, this is sick. Yeah. It was so nice to be like out of the environment that I just know so well, and like become a bit blasé about. Like, it was just nice. Everything was new. I knew I had to learn loads. Like, I had to figure out what downhill is, because I've done a couple of downs when I first got into racing, like literally when I first got into riding a bike, to be honest. And I didn't really know what the format was going to be like, what you expected to do and stuff. So I was just winging it and learning. And I was just buzzing to put the whole track together, to be honest, because there's some horrible features on Val de Sol, especially in the wet. But it pushed me loads, because even just straight out the start gate, there's like a road gap. And if that was in an enduro race, I'd have probably spent an hour just looking at that and just being like, ooh, will I hit it? And I literally had to do my first lap. I didn't do any warm up, first practice run, and just go and hit this road gap. And I was like, even just doing that, I was buzzing, wasn't I? I come down after the first run like, well, I sent the road gap, no mither, just got that done. And then I think it took me a couple of runs before there's this dirty like rock. It's not actually that bad, but the holes after it get really bad in the wet. I was a bit sketchy off that every time, I'm not going to lie. But we made it. I didn't crash on it. I nearly did, but didn't crash on it, and got through it each time, which was nice. And I was just buzzing to be there. And I was having such a good time in practice. They made a section that was quite enduro as well. It was like
that little high bus stop.
The high bus stop, and everyone was like, I was really surprised actually because I stopped there for like most runs because there was so much traffic, and I was really surprised on like, I don't want to sound like I'm poo-pooing downhill, but like I was surprised on the different skill set that downhillers have. That's probably the best way of saying it, because downhill tracks nowadays are so fast and flat out. I suppose they don't really practice their small, soft skills. Like,
it's very, very enduro style.
Yeah, like stopping or
there's
something.
not many endo turns on the downhill track.
Exactly. And like you didn't have to endo it, but it did kind of help to sort of position your wheel and whatever. And there was a big route coming out and stuff. But I suppose they're so used to just going fast over stuff, and going slow over wet routes is not that nice because you feel like you're on the brink of like crashing. But yeah, I was quite surprised, and I thought that's when I suppose I was like stood there just being like, maybe we should do a few more downhills like this. Once we get used to the higher speed, maybe we'd be all right at it. But there's so much. It like, I don't know what your experience was like, but for me personally, I was like, I think I need to do a whole season before I could get up to sort of any kind of pace near them.
You say that, but you were like not far off qualifying, I'm sure.
I think I was at 18th.
I can't remember.
I think I was
miles off.
I think I was 18th or 19th, which is, but time wise, I think I was only about a few seconds, something.
Yeah, which for a first,
it would have been cool to qualify, but and I think to be honest, on my run, I didn't realise how you need to get yourself quite pumped up and like excited, like in the zone. That would probably be my hardest thing. I mean, with racing anyway, that's the bit I find most difficult, and so. For downhill, I can't imagine how many like runs I'm just not that like up for it, and go all the way to blooming, I don't know, Montsanne or something, and I'd be like, don't feel like riding fast now, and so I'm not sure I can commit to doing a full season of that yet. But
it's cool to do something different though, for sure.
I think I just like doing different things, to be honest. Like, and like you say, the vlogs and filming it is something that I've really enjoyed this year. We never like set out to do it. We just thought, you know what, this is a weird year. Like, we're going to be doing some different stuff, and like. Obviously, like I've gone from having full princess treatment at races to like just getting on my bike and hoping nothing's broken this year. Yeah. Like, so it's cool to document it and stuff. And I've really enjoyed like sharing it and making a bit of a community on YouTube, because the YouTube community is quite different because they're actually watching it and like
it's
not just scrolling past.
So. Well, at first we were kind of, I suppose we used to poo-poo a bit. We were like,
we're not vloggers.
Yeah, we don't know if we want to do that, but actually we were like, let's just try it, see if we enjoy it, and we stopped cringing, haven't we? Like when you're like, hi, holding the camera, a little bit cringe, but we're getting over it. And like people love them. Like
people are nosy. That's what I found out. They'll watch anything. Want to see it, people, to be honest. People don't even want to watch us ride. They just want to watch like what we're eating or what we're like.
People love the food
vlogs. Or like what, I don't know, banter we're having and stuff.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind sharing it, to be fair.
Even like for us to watch back like when we were old grannies sat in our armchairs, like to be able to watch back some cool trips.
Go on, grannies.
Will be sick.
Go on, grannies. New franchise. So we had a bit of a break, didn't we? So after it was a Lech, I think there was a little bit of a break in the calendar. Mm-hmm. And was that when you guys got broken into?
Just before we went to Ludenville.
Yeah, before the last bit of the season.
It was literally like
about 5 days before we went away racing. Yeah.
So is that at your house? That's your garage?
Yeah, literally. It was just rubbish. We try and put it behind us, but I don't think it'll get put fully behind us. But just horrible to be broken into like at your own home, and the stuff will eventually replace itself, and the money value is not it was a lot of money. It was probably about nearly 40 grand's worth of stuff got stolen.
Wow.
But that's just money, you can't go to the grave with that. So it was it's just visualizing the like when we went down the like to see where the garage is, and we were just like see the door wide open, and you're like that feeling in your gut is just horrible. And it's really it's not affected me as much as Chloe. I've managed to, my mechanism was to I went quite numb to it actually, and just like was like, it is what it is. And I think as well with the year that I've had like being dropped from the team and stuff, like having that it is what it is, the mentality has really helped me, and I think it just came naturally in that situation. But it's definitely affected you and a bit more. You spent a lot of time.
Well, it's hard to like not feel angry about it. Like the thought of like 4 lads waltzing down our drive, like spending nearly 2 hours picking through what they wanted to take.
Really?
Is like, yeah.
Did you have some like video or?
Yeah,
there was some
CCTV.
CCTV.
But it's hard not for it to make you feel sick, and
Yeah.
it's just like,
just
why
mad
do
that-
people want to steal other people's stuff? It's just
Yes,
hard
that
to get your head
that
round, isn't it?
Entitlement that's an okay thing to do
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
crazy.
It seems more and more in Britain as well. Like it's Britain's so bad for it. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, there has been a lot. Well,
It
yeah,
is.
Nico and the Frameworks guys got
Yeah.
done in
Yeah.
there in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, it's just
And
sickening.
Canyon, they got
Yeah,
done
yeah.
in Milton Keynes as well, wasn't it?
I can't remember where that was. I thought that was at one of the races, but I'm not sure.
No, they were. I'm sure they were. Were they driving somewhere? Was that
Oh, you're on about Jesse and
Jesse
Jack.
Norman?
I
Yeah,
thought
where
that
was
was
that?
in Europe.
Poland,
Was it?
wasn't
Oh,
I
was
think?
it
That was
after
in
Poland?
Poland,
Wasn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's kind of made me want to kind of make a bit of a stand to try and make things change. Because in the UK, there's no repercussions. So like, why would they not go in, week out, stealing people's bikes? Especially where we live in Leithen. Like, people come down from the cities because they know that it's a biking town, and if they break into each shed, there's probably a bike in each shed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of made me obviously fill in the plate a little bit more, but try and make a bit of a stand and try and like make things change, because it affects people every week. Like, it's not
Has
just
Leithen been
us.
bad for it then? Because
Yeah.
it's a hotspot. There's so
Yeah,
much
they
bike there.
go on
now.
little sprees and just.
And like,
Yeah.
But it's all organised crime. Like our bikes end up in Ukraine, and like 2 weeks after we've been broken into, they were already like few
For
bits
sale.
changed, photographed, polished up, and like
In Ukraine.
advertised on like this secondhand. It's like just stolen bikes,
Yeah.
like like a business. They literally. So it's like an organised business, and like. Yeah, it's frustrating because obviously the police don't really do anything about it. But
Yeah.
we actually ended up getting one bike back though.
Did you?
Yeah, I contacted them and sort of like, I'm going to pass this information on to the police type thing, and they were like, "I'll send you it back."
Where was it?
It was in Ukraine,
No way. And they sent it back.
and while we were in Mexico just recently,
So the person that had bought it sent it back, or the
they
person
didn't
that was
want to.
selling
They
it?
didn't want to tell us anything about it, and when they said we're going to send it back, I was like, yeah, right. I said, well, if it comes back within 2 weeks, I'll not pass the information on. And, send it. And they said they'd spent $1,100 on it, and I was like, I mean, I've spent a lot more, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But it arrived back wrapped in cling film. Wrapped in cling film, and it. There's a few little things. Right, they obviously stripped off all like bits that your mounts and your bottle cages and your mug guards and stuff. So they polished it up. It looked quite nice, to be fair.
They cleaned it for
Yeah,
you.
they give it a regular clean. But they've broken the bottle cage mounts, which is so bizarre. Like taking it off.
Yeah.
They must have like hit it with a hammer because they couldn't get the screw in back. The bolt
all the
back in.
bonding's come away.
So the
no
bonding
way.
has come away. So I'm gonna have to either like take them off and we might get them fidlock ones that you like grip round your whole frame, unfortunately. But a bit of a shame, and it just feels a bit weird. I feel it's horrible because someone's had their hands all over it. Yeah, but it's cool because we're coming into gravel season, and like out of all the bikes that got nicked, the gravel bike's pretty sick to get back.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty pleased on that. And we're obviously, it was not the year to get broken into. Like we were
Well, it's
already
like-
struggling on bikes and stuff anyway.
Yeah, like
but-
all the spares and so many little like
was more
there
the
was like a
spares.
draw set that had like springs, like saddles, stems and stuff in, and they just took the whole draw set.
Oh, man.
they didn't go through
It's
it.
just mental, like when you, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there'll be more and more things we come across where we're like, oh, we just need that, and it's like,
It's not
oh,
there.
that's not there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just a bit frustrating, but I don't
But
know.
the sponsors were great as well. Like, because obviously one of the bikes that got nicked we don't leave the bikes in there normally, but I was changing stuff over that night because we were about to go away for the World Champs.
Yeah.
And I was swapping parts over because I'd decided to race. What was I racing?
No, you're just swapping the
I was swapping. No, but
over.
I had been racing riding the Capra at home or something. I was swapping parts over. I was like, no, I'm going to race the Scott again. Swapping parts over that night, didn't finish the job, so locked up. And then there was two bikes in there that would never normally be in there, to be honest.
way.
Like, yeah, so they got lucky, but it was more the stuff that they got off the shelves and stuff. That was like all the stuff we'd got that year from sponsors. So that was a bit of a nightmare, but
you managed to
we've
get everything
back,
you needed to go back racing again.
Yeah, exactly. Like YT literally brought a bike out to Ludenville for me.
Fair play.
And I spent the first 2 days when we arrived, like the Monday, Tuesday, and Shimano bought me out a full build kit, XTR build kit. So it's all components I'm used to and everything. So I spent the first 2 days just stripping that down and putting on. And Fox sent out some suspension for it. So that was mint. And it was a shame they wanted that bike back, to be honest. I was pretty sad about that because it was the Jeffsy as well, which was, I've been wanting to try that one.
Yeah, it's a fun bike, that.
Oh, yeah, unreal. Well, I wish I'd been on that all season, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, the sizing was perfect. The fact it's only 150 travel was perfect. So, and it looked sick. It was like stealthy black, wasn't it? Black fork as well. It looked right good, but that one went back.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
At least it didn't get stolen.
It didn't get stolen, yeah. Because actually one of the bikes that did get stolen was one of the ones that YT were loaning me, which obviously felt real bad about, yeah.
It's tricky,
but YT have been really helpful this year, so they've helped out where they can.
Cool. Good bunch.
Yeah.
So last little bit of racing then, so Ludenville, roughest race I've ever been at.
Yeah.
Just standing at the side of the track, let alone racing it. And then world champs, first ever, lots of excitement around that. And then the weather tried to put an end to it with the snow, but they did an amazing job, I think, to actually make that event run. Chloe, maybe start with you. Talk us through the last race of the series and the world champs.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was sick to be at the first ever world champs. Like, I think we've all wanted it for a long time, and it's deserved it for a long time as well. And yeah, cool vibes. Like, we're hanging out with the boys, with the GB boys and stuff all week, just having good times. And obviously then the weather rolled in, and then we were like, should we go sledging instead? But yeah, wild. It was crazy week, because just watching the weather and then, going to sleep, and then there's more snow. But I think they put in hard graft to make it work, because I think they had volunteers and stuff clearing the tracks higher up to even make the race happen. So props to them. I feel sorry for the organisers to have the first ever world champs and the snow rolling. But they did a great job. It's always fun trails out in Canazay, and yeah, not a race to write home about for me, but just cool to be involved in the event, I think.
Nice.
What about you, Bex?
Yeah, it was just a bit mental, wasn't it? The weather, like, we're used to wild weather. I'm trying to think about how the race. Oh, I didn't even finish the race, did I?
Oh, no.
Yeah, what happened?
I was just trying to think about what happened.
Ill?
Oh, I'd been sick that week
You'd
before.
been sick
A lot
all
of
week.
people were sick after Ludenville.
Oh
weren't
yeah,
they?
I was sick as a dog. I was in bed, wasn't I, for like 3 days, and I was starting to feel a bit better. But with it being so cold, and our building wouldn't turn the heating on, only at night it turned the heating on. So like in the day we were just like, it was like 3 degrees. It was so cold. So I was just in bed for like, I think I did 3 days full bed rest.
You were like umming and ahhing whether you'd be able to race because you were so sick.
And then I did practice, and I think I gave everything I had on practice, to be honest, just getting round the day and staying warm, trying to stay warm and stuff. And like, I don't know, it's so weird, like pulling out of races is just something that just feels so crap. Like you just don't like,
well,
it just doesn't sit with you. And this year as well, like it's been such a mission to just get ourselves to them races. It felt like such a flop and waste of time and money and stuff. But then I was like, can't do anything about being sick, really, can I? And I don't want to end the season with like being ill, like prolonging the illness, because it was like a flu, really.
Yeah.
And we were going to Mexico a few weeks after, so we didn't have heaps of time. And I've been waiting for this trip like all year. So I was like, I don't want to be ill for that, or like or even pick up an injury, because I've tried over.
Well, I think you started stage 1 and then your Raynaud's were really bad as well.
Yeah, I've also get Raynaud's, which is like where you have bad blood circulation in your hand. Well, people get it in different parts, but like hands and feet, basically. And for me, like, yeah, the first stage is Titans, and I don't know if you've ever ridden that track. It's like, it's the sickest track ever, but it's constant, non-stop. Like, there's no rest. There's no little fire road break or whatever. And it's so good, but
you need to be able to use your brakes.
I couldn't tell if I was braking or not.
If you can't feel your fingers, you're not going to go well.
It's honestly, it's the most terrifying, and it's the most terrifying thing when you just don't even know if you're braking or not, and then you do an extra hard pull on the brakes to just check, and then you're like nearly over the bars. But and it's something I've always struggled with my Raynaud's, but I've always managed to just about keep it at bay at races. But when it snows, like, God,
when
I
it's
can't.
3 degrees, it's not much.
I had winter gloves on and everything, and these winter gloves have been mint for me. Like they've never really like stopped me racing or riding, but it was that cold and it was that kind of wet cold as well by this point. Like the snow was kind of trying to go. So I actually pulled out mid stage. I was just like, I'm going to hurt myself here. Like it's a really techie track. And I was like, this is going to be stupid. I'm going to miss Mexico. I literally was riding going like, I'm going to miss Mexico. I'm going to go over at Bad and break my wrist. I was like, what's the point in this? So I was just like, you know what? It's stage 1. I can get back, chuck the bike at home and we had a hire car. So I was like, I'll just rally around and go and watch as much as I can, egg everyone on and happy days. So I just did that, to be honest. And
fair.
Yeah, had
Sounds
a good
like
time.
a sensible move.
Yeah, it was pretty sensible. It was a bit annoying though, like literally pulling over for the other girls to come past, and I'm just like, they must have been like, what is she doing? She doesn't look injured, and she doesn't like she got a problem. So, and the annoying thing is, as soon as I stop riding, right, the blood comes rushing back into my hands, and they go hot.
Fine. Yeah,
and it's so annoying.
Yeah, no,
so if anyone's got any tips on Reynards, I've probably already tried it, but hit me up.
Worth a try.
Yeah.
And you've been busy away from the racing as well. So you had Gowaan Festival again this year after a little break.
Yeah, that was in the middle, wasn't it?
You've been doing some kids coaching as well. Like, talk to us about that side of Gowaan, because it's cool to see.
Yeah. Do you want to start with the festival?
Yeah, festival had a break last year. We've not been organising it. We've actually organised it every other year. It's been quite nice to have a year off, then organise it. But it will be back next year. We're going to do it annually now. But yeah, I think events in general have been quite hard to organise this year. Like numbers have been down and stuff.
Yeah.
Just blame it on the industry again. Like it seems like everything gets blamed on the industry nowadays, but I don't know what it is. People are skint, I don't know. But I had 100 riders, didn't we? And everyone got stuck in, and the weather tried to hold us back, but we cracked on, didn't we?
Still a good vibe. Like it's a smaller event, but it's still the same sort of Gowaan vibe. Everyone's giving things a go and hitting the airbag, and good party on Saturday night. And yeah, we had a good turnout. I think everyone enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, there's just a bit of everything to do. Like for us organising it, it's actually really busy, because the way the festival works is kind of like you pretty much it's one ticket. It includes everything. You don't have to buy anything when you're there, other than maybe some raffle tickets if you want to. But it's got your camping included, so you kind of come for the whole experience. And for us, it's mental organising it, because we're like, right, we've got this event going on now, this event, and we pretty much just like drag everyone around the different parts of Farmer John's park and like session them, or do a coaching session here and a jump session here and whatnot. And it's good crack. Like I think I get a lot out of just getting people together to ride bikes and seeing people that are, I don't know, doing their first skid or whatever, or their first jump, or I get a lot from that. So
we also had the mini bike race for the first time.
That went down
like what they did at Hard Rock. I don't know if you went to Hard Rock, but on the little kids' bikes, and that was so much fun.
It was mental.
Probably
wasn't
the
it?
highlight of the weekend.
We got fairy washing up liquid and made like a corner, an off-camber corner that they had to like turn on a plastic sheet.
There are a lot of crashes.
And then we put a big bag, a big safety pad, and past health and safety, and then and then you just had to do the rest of the course. You had to, and it was like a relay race, and the baton was a bra, and so you had to put the bra on the next rider, and then ride, and then do like a lap, and everyone loved that. It was a good start to Saturday night as well.
It was funny because like at first we were like, who wants to join in? And like 5 people put their hands up.
Yeah.
And then before you knew it, there was like 50. Like,
and you have to do a shot a lap as well, so it's a good it's a good start to the
loosen up into the Saturday night.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
And we did a lads race as well, didn't we? For we have a lot of marshals and volunteers and people that come in on the trade stands as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys were all trying to put these bras on. They had no idea what they were doing. It was so good.
Yeah.
Mega. And you've been doing the kids coaching as well.
Yeah, that's been so much fun.
Yeah, obviously, just a little home project, I suppose.
Yeah,
isn't it?
obviously we living in Leitham, where like most kids are growing up on bikes, and I can't remember how we sort of started.
We started it because I'd lost my job.
Well, yeah,
we started it because we were like thinking, what can we do? And I've already done coaching, so I was like, why don't we do some kids stuff? Because working with kids is mint, like especially when you give them back, like you just have a fun hour with them and then give them back, which is great.
Well, we started it all like through last winter, because a lot of like we have a lot of friends that have kids, and they were like, through the winter the kids can't ride their bikes because it's dark when they get home from school and it's freezing, so they don't want to go out. They're like, you know, cold within half an hour. So we were like, why don't we do some indoor stuff? So we actually started doing indoor stuff, like just, you know, slow speed skill stuff.
Shout out the village hall for letting us in.
Yeah, letting us.
Good on them.
Yeah.
They were just like, please no skids in the hall.
Which we've now, the kids didn't really know what skids were, but then we did a few sessions outside and now they definitely know what skids are.
It's going to be more interesting this winter trying to stop them then.
There's going to be a few black lines in the hall, I think.
We'll get them scrubbing them, but
Sif is the one for fixing that.
Oh, really?
Not that I've ever done a skid in a village hall.
But yeah, and then we've obviously done a summer camp this summer, like 3 days through the summer up at Glentress. Obviously on our doorstep is insane, like stuff for kids, especially since Glentress has had obviously all the work done where there's a lot of flow trails and stuff. And yeah, just
Enjoyed
seeing
it,
their
didn't
little
we?
characters come out. And we have some kids that are like, you know, only just learnt to ride, and you can see like they're, you know, getting hooked on it, which is so cool to see. And
I think they quite like it because a lot of them watch the YouTube as well, so they like
Cool.
they quite like the fact that they're like, I don't know, with the racers.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
also we've ended up videoing them at the summer camp and they loved it, didn't they?
loved the GoPro.
I think GoPro should sponsor us, right? Because every parent's now got to buy their kid a GoPro
Because
they want to do it. Yeah, it's so good. And
putting a GoPro on the front of a kid's bike is hilarious.
you were in
After
stitches,
the summer
weren't
camp,
you?
I was editing the video and I was like in tears.
Because of their commentary. Like,
Yeah, and like
no,
some of the kids that are really quiet, and then you put a GoPro on them and they're going down a trail and they're like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And we're like, this kid never normally says a word.
Yeah, literally.
So funny.
And it's funny because they don't realise it's still recording when they get to the bottom of the trail. So like you can tell it, like, you know who's the bossy ones and stuff. They'll be like, everyone line up and stuff like that. But to be fair, our kids are all so well behaved as well. Like we kind of, I suppose, there's a few different summer camps and stuff that happen in the forest at the same time. And like, I suppose we try to, ours is not really coaching. We're just out having fun on bikes.
Okay.
Like, it's very much like we're just letting the kids just go mental, to be
Figure it
honest. Yeah, we're letting them
Organised chaos.
organised chaos. Yeah. And it's just, we're cool with that. Like, we quite like it when they're just, you can tell they're just finding their boundaries of excitement. Like, they just go crazy and then have a dip and then but yeah,
And like just a bit of freedom as well. Like, I don't know, trying to teach them how the world works without really knowing that they're learning, I suppose.
Yeah, doing it through fun rather than
That's
like
it, yeah.
structured stuff.
Which is obviously all that Gowaan stands for, is having fun. So, yeah, and they all seem to love it. They keep coming back,
Yeah.
don't
our mini Gowaners.
they? Yeah.
That's amazing. And you've just come back from Mexico. You were there for Trans Sierra Norte, which I have to say looks like a pretty amazing event and one that I'd quite like to do one day.
Get it on your list, definitely.
How was it?
Unreal. The whole experience, like,
Yeah.
well, like the food, the people, the place, like the views, the trails were
Insane.
because we actually had on the actual race, we were struggling quite a lot, weren't we, with the altitude?
Really high altitude, which you didn't realise before we went, which
No, we didn't really plan
should have done
that.
our research.
Yeah, we were just like, we're going on holiday to Mexico, doing this last final event, and
And we got to the camp and it's at 3,000 metres and that's where you
You're like-
sleep at.
Okay, yeah, you already can't breathe.
Yeah.
honestly, like sleeping, we were like, our hearts were going 20 beats higher than normal.
It's mad how big a difference it makes. Like
And
your
it's
breathing
scary.
rate and your heart rate and everything so
Yeah.
much higher.
We
Yeah.
literally, after day 2, we were lying in bed and I was actually kind of scared to go to sleep because I was like, I feel really, well, we were really depleted anyway because the first 2 days were really long because there was a landslide and stuff, so we got back super late that day, like on the bus and stuff, and so the first 2 days were super physical and long, and I honestly was lying in bed going like, I don't know if I want to go to sleep.
Not
Like, got all this
dramatic
chest
at all.
pain. No, you were the same.
No, I was the same.
And then Phoebe was throwing up. Like
Yeah.
the altitude hit her hard as well.
Yeah.
And
But the trails were insane.
yeah,
Like
the trails.
some of the best trails I've ever ridden.
There wasn't one mediocre stage.
Is it varied or is it all like a certain style or?
No,
There's
it's-
like parts that like are similar to Finale, like Rocky, and then you can go to another like section that's like super loamy, like insane. Like so different, but I suppose over like 4 days and they're using different sides of the hill and stuff like that. So
It all works
Yeah.
really well on bikes because like it's so strange to get like such long trails that are like actually bike trails the whole way down. I think we were asking the Booker, the guy that organised it, and he says some of them are like literally like ancient rites of passage and stuff like that.
And like donkey paths.
Like
and
literally,
stuff.
yeah, maybe not ancient, but like donkey paths and that, yeah. And but they've been built, sculpted into like corners and stuff, and they work on a bike. It's not like just going down a footpath. Like in the Alps and stuff, you can go down stuff and you're like, well, this is not working on a bike. Like that's 180 degrees.
Corners.
Yeah, it's just janky. And,
yeah, but there wasn't one stage you'd be like, that were a bit rubbish. Like it were unreal.
Cool.
And it like,
and also just bringing back like that side of enduro.
Yeah,
like,
travel.
especially for us next year as well, like trying to do events that bring back that element of adventure, which Mexico totally brought that back for us. Like obviously when we first started enduro, your first season was like Chile and Argentina
and Chile.
yeah,
and
that was
like,
a cool year, eh?
Yeah. And for my first year was like when we went to New Zealand, Canada, like try and bring that element back of like traveling and
the
going
world.
to places where you wouldn't usually take your bike, which obviously Mexico is one of them places. So yeah, trying to bring
Big
back
trip.
a bit more of that in the future, I think.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
What are the plans for next year then? Because the industry's arguably not in any better place than it was 12 months ago. It's still very hard to kind of make things work and put plans together and get support.
We're
what
still.
are you going to do?
I mean, we're still going to be riding bikes.
We're still searching.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to become an electrician. That's
Okay,
for sure.
good.
Yeah, so
That one's gone.
that thought's gone. But no, we're going to be driving forward a lot with Gowaan. The festival's obviously a big thing for us, and we're really excited that the festival's fully inclusive next year. So we're going to we want everybody to come to it. It's not going to be a specific female event.
Okay, cool.
It was always our plan with Gowaan for because I suppose if you look at it as like most mountain bike events, historically we're kind of like guys events because so just guys
Organised
go
by guys,
exactly,
made for guys, yeah.
And then women started going to them, so like we kind of always wanted Gowaan Fest to be like a women's event that then we do open up to like everybody. Okay. So
and I think nowadays like there is quite a lot of events now for like just women.
Yeah,
so I think now is a good time to bridge that gap, and we're excited to.
Yeah, we're excited because we get so many like dads, uncles, like brothers that they want to come and ride as well, and they're all about the kind of vibe that we have of being like encouraging and stuff. So it feels kind of exclusive now to not be. Yeah, we feel a bit too exclusive, and
also like someone made a good point the other week, like to say that there's not actually any events for guys that are like new to the sport, might be a bit nervous to go to a race and be the fastest guy there or do a backflip on the airbag. So I think it'll be cool to sort of have them along as well that are new to it and might feel a bit nervous to go straight to a race, and I think that's cool.
Yeah. So the festival will be on again, and we've not finalised a date yet for that. So we're kind of waiting for everyone to put their dates out because. Like this year, it clashed with Bolly Enduro, Rat Boys' new event, and like I think that probably did have an effect on like numbers and stuff.
Pretty close by as well.
Yeah, they're
right?
literally like 8 miles apart. So it definitely had an effect on how many we had.
And then you should tell them about your challenge.
Oh yeah, so I'm not retiring from Enduro. Would never use that word. I've seen too many people. You can't say that word.
As soon as you mention it,
oh my
everyone
God.
jumps on it. Yeah.
I don't know how people use the word retire. Only certain people can, I think. But yeah, I want a different focus next year. EDR racing hasn't like got me stoked at all this year. And I feel like we worked so hard to get our budget together, and like I want that feeling like we went to Mexico at all the races next year, like buzzing to be there, excited, curious. So next year my plan is to do a challenge like in the first half of the year. I'm stupidly gonna, Mark Scott's got full round of golf challenge. I'm signing myself up to attempt that. So
What's the stats on that? It's pretty. Well,
it's
big,
it's always going up because there's actually more trails now. So I think Mark's was 192 kilometers.
Nearly an Everest.
I think it was like 8,200, but I've got a feeling it could potentially even be an Everest.
I was going to say, can't be far off now.
Yeah, I think that by the time I do it next summer, I think there'll probably be 2 more trails open anyway. So,
pray for Bex.
Pray for Bex.
New hashtag for 2025.
But I just needed something. I'd been thinking about it for ages.
You also did Glentress 7 this year, which you really enjoyed, and I think that inspired it. Yeah.
Yeah, just like I like riding short travel bikes and like more endurance. My body likes endurance. I'm not like
You're a diesel.
Yeah, I'm a diesel engine. Always been a diesel engine, and like I thought, you know what? If I can do a 7-hour event, I can do a 30-hour event.
Why not? How hard can it be?
So I'm excited. The more I've been thinking about it and talking to people about it and like planning it, we'd really like to make a film out of it and show it at Gowaan Fest. But trying to get budget for that, you know what it's like. So it might end up just being a vlog. We don't know yet. But I really want it to be a film because like there's going to be a lot of work that goes into it, and it's going to be a huge challenge. Like Mark Scott is a very, very fit guy.
He's a hell of an athlete.
Yeah, I'm very aware that it's classed as an attempt what I'm doing, and at the moment, like in my mind, it's like honestly at the moment right now, it's like an 80%, 20%. Like as in 20% chance of doing it,
right,
and 80% fail. That's how it's in my mind.
Like we've chatted about it and we've said like even if you fail, it's like the fact that you give something a go that you think that you might not be able to achieve, which is like
that's
thing
the
in
biggest
itself.
thing.
Yeah, you're pushing yourself.
I'm going to train like pretty much after Christmas. Like that's my main focus of the year. So
just going to do a World Cup to train for it.
I'm going to use Poland as a training event. Probably do. You
said that to someone the other day, and you were like, "You're going to do a World Cup race as your training?"
Yeah, I'm going to
downhill or enduro though.
Enduro,
okay,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well, although I think the biggest thing for this challenge, right, the Golfy challenge, is going to be the descending.
It's a lot of descending.
Upper body.
Yeah, on hard trails.
On a shorter travel bike as well.
Yeah.
On proper tracks.
What did Mark do on Tallboy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that 140?
No, that's
130.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing it on a 130.
Okay.
With like probably a 36 for, probably not. I think a 34 would be too, I don't know yet fully, or something equivalent to that.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's going to be upper body. I'm going to definitely try and get in some like massive descending days, like in the Alps and stuff like that. Like try and get somewhere with a good chairlift where you can just
lap
it out, get like an 8k day, a couple of 8k days. Use the e-bike as well. We're going to do loads of things to try and make it more achievable. Like even just stuff like a few days before, I'm going to go and I presume you've been up Golfy, haven't you? Like the last bit of the climb is quite rubbish.
Yeah, it's the worst bit.
Yeah, and I'm going to try, the few days before, I'm going to clear a few rocks and stuff, like just to make sure there's a nice way for me to keep going up and stuff. And like, and I'd really like as well our kids club and anyone in the village or anyone that wants to come and like be a part of it. Like I'd really like to try and time the last descent down Flat White at a decent time that's like not in the middle of the night or something like that, where people can come and join, because that would be pretty cool.
Trail.
Yeah, for the last run. So save that new Flat White. Hopefully it's not got braking bumps on. I'm sure it will.
I heard it already has.
Yeah. We've not even ridden it yet. We need to get on it.
Lando's ridden it.
Yeah, the dog's been on it, but we haven't yet.
Amazing. You need a good light sponsor.
Yeah, well, I'm planning it for the 21st of June, which is the longest day.
Okay.
And I think there's only going to be about 6 or 7 hours of darkness.
Only, yeah.
If I did a 6 or 7 hour ride, I'd be pretty impressed.
That's in it. 7 hours is Glentress 7.
Oh yeah,
but like,
in the dark.
Yeah, it'll be all right though. That's going to be the hardest bit for sure. The dark.
Yeah, just getting through that part
and like
of it.
Presumably, filmers and like support crew, they're going to need to go. They're going to need to go to bed at some point.
Yes, she will.
But yeah, I'm excited just to plan the whole thing and start training for it, because my hope is that 2080 is going to flip, and it's going to be 80% chance I'm going to do it. That's where by the time I come, a week or two from the challenge, I want to be 8% sure that I can complete this challenge. Or, it'd be nice to be 100%, but who knows what the weather's doing, if I get sick or whatever. Obviously, you're going to wait for decent conditions, a dry spell.
If we ever get that.
We might be waiting the whole season. But yeah, that's going to be the aim. I'm really excited to just do something different.
That's cool.
And train for something different too. Probably a lot of hours on the bike.
For sure. Cool. Yeah. What about you, Chloe?
Yeah, I've not fully decided for next year. I feel like I'm not fully done with World Cup racing yet. I've not achieved everything that I want to achieve. So definitely going to start the World Cup season, sort of see how it's going. And then, I think for the both of us, just doing a few different events, really. Trying to mix it up a bit, because especially when the schedule came out for the World Cups next year, it sounds really not ungrateful, but I don't know. It's not like
It's not
it was-
exciting.
Exciting. Like sort of the same venues again, and like I mentioned before about sort of wanting to do events that bring back that adventure feel. So we'd really like to do Trans Madeira because that looks like a sick event.
Does look amazing. Yeah.
And I did Madeira in my first EWS season, and like insane trails, cool island. Everyone was like lovely, and so I think going to do Trans Madeira could be sick, and maybe some US events. We chatted before about maybe doing, like, we've never done much in the US other than EDRs or EWSs.
Yeah. The EWS though, or EDRs, were amazing in the US,
that's it. Like the crowds are insane out there, and
they're all very enthusiastic out there.
Yeah, they get into it. It's cool. Yeah.
And exploring a different country as well. So we're not fully set on a certain schedule at all, but I think just loads
we'll be
of
riding
different
bikes.
Random events, I guess.
Yeah.
Bit more downhill or not?
It's just hard to do the two, to be honest. I suppose training for downhill is so different to enduro. So they cross over, of course, but
to do a good crack at it though, you need to you do definitely need to get a lot more downhill time than we do.
Yeah. I'd definitely like to do some, but I don't know how things will look for next year with the whole certain amount of teams. And
I was going to say for World Cup might be a challenge, but if you wanted to go and race like the US like Monster downhill series, which seems to
I
be
think if we could make
traction.
one work, like if we can go over and do a few races in one trip, that could be cool.
Yeah,
it's just budget as well. Like we've not
got anything.
Sort of signed anything for next year. Yeah, we're chatting to a few different brands, but it seems much the same as last year. Hard to find budget, but I don't know. I hope we'll come out the other side of that. But
yeah, fingers crossed.
We'll make it work no matter what, won't we?
Yeah, if you're wanting to do something, you're passionate, you just make it work, don't you?
You'll find a way.
Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Still got one more bike to sell. Well, that's one trip.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a real pleasure catching up. It's good to see you both on top form. Look forward to seeing what 2025 holds. If people want to follow you, where are we looking these days?
I guess
Instagram and YouTube. So Gowaan_MTB for all the Gowaan antics. And then Bex _Baraona, I think. What's yours?
Chloe Taylor _84. And then obviously our vlogs on YouTube if you want longer form content.
Nice. I will dig around and get all the links and stick them in the show notes. People can find that nice and easily. Nice. But yeah, thanks for the tea. Thanks for the flapjack. And
you need to have another slice of that.
I will before I leave for sure. But yeah, have a good 2025.
Thanks for having us. Cheers.